Hi everyone, how you doing? It's Paul here from Unusual Things, and now, as you can see behind me, we are in the beautiful city of Winchester, and directly behind me is of course Winchester Cathedral. Now today we have come here because we're going to find the final resting place of a Mr. Thomas Thetcher. Now you may be thinking, who's Thomas Thetcher? Who is he? What's that all about? Now the reason why we've come here is because Thomas Thetcher's got a very interesting story. He was a young man who died at the age of 26 years old, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it real soon because of his close association, believe it or not, to Alcoholics Anonymous. And he died in 1764. So a long time before Alcoholics Anonymous was even thought of or introduced to the world. Anyway, I'll tell you a little bit more about that real soon. If you like the video today, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you a thing. And of course, leave your messages down below and hit that notification bell as well. And we're going to have a little look as well, if we can, inside the cathedral today. Now there's not going to be any drone today because it's quite windy. I know it doesn't look it, but it's very windy up higher. So if it does die down a little bit later on, I'll try and get it out. But if not, I'll have to come back another day and do that. But I'll tell you a little bit more about Mr. Thetcher, and we'll go and find his final resting place. Thomas Thetcher, 1764 was the year that he passed. Now, to anyone that's been associated with Alcoholics Anonymous before, you may have heard the name. He died on May the 12th, 1764 at the age of 26 after drinking a contaminated small beer. Now, at the time, he was being advised to have a warm drink, but he wanted a cold one. So he had a beer. There's nothing wrong with that, I hear you all say, and I would be exactly the same. Now, he was a grenadier in the North Regiment of the Hants Militia, and his actual cause of death was a violent fever. Now, with his memorial stone, it has been replaced on quite a number of times throughout the years, because obviously it's decayed and it's got a bit, you know, ruined and so forth. So lots of people, including his old regiment, have afforded him a new one. I'll just show you the part of the cathedral, how beautiful it is there. We will try and get inside in a minute. In 1917, a young American soldier by the name of Bill Wilson was stationed nearby in Winchester. And as he was walking through the grounds, he noticed the headstone of Thomas. And he looked into it a little bit more, and he was fascinated by the inscription that was on there and the fact that he actually died so young due to having this beer. Now, Bill Wilson was stationed nearby in Winchester, and after the war he went back to the USA and he became a very successful businessman. Now the problem is with the success that he had from the business, he started to drink very heavily, and like his life was getting more and more out of control. He was losing lots of money, and also the other reason why he was so fascinated with Thomas's headstone was because back home he had a friend with a similar name, but a name of Thetcher. And this really struck with Bill, and Bill always remembered it, and he always remembered the inscription that was on the grave about how that last drink killed him that he shouldn't have had. Now, as I said, Bill's life was getting out and out of control. He was losing money, his businesses were going down, and he literally got given an option by the courts that he had to either stop drinking or he would be banged up, definitely. I don't know what crimes he committed to actually get to that point. There's not enough information on it. However, because of this, he got together with his friend of the similar name, Thetcher, and they started Alcoholics Anonymous. So if you ever read the book, I think it's sold over 30 million copies worldwide, and if you ever look in it, there is reference in there, of course, to Thomas Thetcher, whose final place we are going to go and visit in a moment. I think before we go and find his final headstone, his final resting place, I should say, we'll try and get in and we'll have a look around the cathedral if we can, and then we'll come back out and we'll see if we can find his final resting place. But I will show you a couple of other little bits first before we go and do that, so you've got a good idea of what the place is like. Now, this is a beautiful open grounds here. It's really nice. You know, I don't think I've been here for a long time, many years ago. I think as a kid I came here. Now, obviously some of these headstones are so old, they literally have nothing left on them. They've just been so weathered. But I believe Thomas's headstone is out here, because there are headstones within the grounds over there as well. But I believe his is on the outside from what I've researched about him. Sorry about the grass cutter in the background. Hopefully he won't go over my mic at all and that you can still hear me okay. Right. So there's just a few little headstones there. What we'll do now is we'll go inside, we'll see if we can get inside. We'll have a good look around, because I believe also there's a monument in there to Joan of Arc, of course, the French revolutionary leader who was like 17 or something when she led the French to fight the English. So we're going to have a look in there, and I believe there's some royalty buried in there as well. So we're going to have a look anyway. And then we'll come out and try and find his final resting place. Okay, so just come outside that beautiful cathedral and the amazing things that we saw in there. And I've come outside and I've been having a good look around, and do you know what? I think I found it. To be fair, it's probably the cleanest headstone with the most clarity on it on the outside here. So we're going to have a look at it, shall we? It's massive. There we go. In memory of Thomas Thetcher, a grenadier in the North Regiment of Hants Militia who died of violent fever contracted by drinking small beer when hot on the 12th of May 1764, aged 26 years. In grateful remembrance of whole universal goodwill towards his comrades, this stone is placed here at their expense. I think it's supposed to say small, the same as universal, but it looks like an F, look. That looks like an F and an F. It should be universal and a small, surely. Yeah, because look, testimony's got a T on it, testimony. Who wrote that? Chris Eubank. Of their regard and concern, here sleeps in peace a Hampshire grenadier who caught his death by drinking cold Finau, is that beer? Soldiers be wise from his untimely fall, and when you hot drink, strong or none at all. This memorial being decay, I think that means it was restored by the officers of the Grenadier, AD 1781. The writing on it, the spelling and stuff is terrible. So many mistakes. It's very weird. So here we have the final resting place, of course, of Thomas Thetcher, a young man, 26 years old, who drank a cold beer when he was being advised to have a warm one. And not only that, who inspired an American soldier, Bill Wilson, who was over here during the First World War and read this, but obviously it was in different text then because this has been replaced, even though the spelling mistakes are terrible. Yeah, so this man is ultimately responsible for the Alcoholics Anonymous book, and I should imagine there's a lot of people out there who are very thankful to that book and the information that Bill Wilson, the American ex-soldier and businessman, put together with his colleague who had a very similar name to Thomas Thetcher here. So bless you, Thomas. Thank you for your service. And what a story. Now, not only what a story, but what an inspiration that young man was to, of course, like I said, the ex-American soldier, Bill Wilson, who went on to write that book. So, you know, a lot of people, I should imagine, have got a lot to thank that young man for. And also their families as well, because without Alcoholics Anonymous, you know, not only the person that's going through that, but then their families as well that have to deal with what the person's going through and so forth. Anyway, thank you as always for watching. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. It's been a different one again. We like doing these little different ones, don't we? Finding out these amazing stories. You know, that man that had that beer that led to the Alcoholics Anonymous book being written because of his influence over someone from another continent, ultimately. Anyway, leave your comments down below, hit the thumbs up, like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all on the next one. Take it easy.